Welcome everyone to our upcoming online discussion. My name is Tamás Arangozó. I'm here from the European Basic Skills Network and also as an EPALE editor. And as you have seen, our topic today is AI and adult basic skills in the digital era, which is one of our thematic focuses this year on EPALE, but it also resonates with the focus of the UNESCO International Literacy Day, which was held as usual on the 8th of September this year with the title Promoting Literacy in the Digital Era. For this reason, we decided to open up the space for you to talk about your experiences with adopting AI tools into learning programs and also to learn about your success stories connected to AI tools, AI adaptations, which focus on learners' needs in the center. So today we are discussing two interesting topics with two experts. One of them is Jorge Batista from Portugal. He is a computational and theoretical linguist expert from INSESCID Portugal. And he's also here to talk about the I Read for Skills project, which presents an excellent opportunity to talk about an innovative approach to helping those who have literacy challenges through an innovative digital tool. Hi, George. Welcome.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you for attending. Please tell us a little bit more about the function of this reading support system that is developed in I Read for Skills project.
Sure. First of all, this project, I Read for Skills, it's a reading system that is designed to analyze texts and to determine their complexity, and in order to match the text's level of complexity with the level of proficiency of the reader. It's an open access digital platform where educators and learners at the same time can upload or select texts, and the system will automatically evaluate their level of complexity using several linguistic features. It goes from vocabulary to syntax and even text structure, and therefore it indicates the level of complexity of the text. And finally, it provides some level of support in order to justify the reasons why this text was considered more or less complex, eventually suggesting alternative solutions or ways to simplify the materials so that they remain meaningful in one hand and engaging on the other hand. That's it.
So essentially, this transforms the text for better comprehension for those who have challenges with literacy levels?
Not exactly. It analyzes the text. It does not generate new text, but it provides clues of what kind of problems or issues can the text present to an adult learner with limited literacy.
Thank you. That's very useful. You mentioned complexity levels. Can you tell us a bit more how the project defines the complexity levels of the text?
That would be a very long talk, but basically we rely on standard complexity levels of proficiency, international standards, and we have four major levels: the very easy, the plain, and everything above plain. Corresponding to different levels of proficiency of adult learners with, and this is a target audience, with limited proficiency. So people that can read eventually, but they are somehow unable to process and to generate, to process text and understand them and use them proficiently in their daily lives.
This is very interesting function, the analysis of the complexity, and I can see how it helps individuals to process a text. Can you talk a little bit about whether in the project you also focus on trainers or learning designers?
Yes, sure. The tool that we have developed has been prepared both for trainers and for learners. Okay. In adult learning environment, teachers will be able to access a certain number of functionalities where they can see, for example, which are the words that are most likely more difficult for the reference level of their students. So, for example, a student will, with a very easy level, will be shown that the teacher will be shown which words may pose some difficulties to this kind of students. On the other hand, they have several other linguistic features, several dozens, where they can highlight the specific problems, and then, if they want, they can simplify these particular aspects in the text.
This is very interesting because in the European Basic Skills Network, we talk about how to approach text and how to make written text more consumable for those who have challenges with literacy. And of course, it's interesting to do it in English, plain English, but in other levels as well. What languages are you working on in this project? Because besides English, we need other languages too.
I should have mentioned that. Yes, the project aims 3 languages. Portuguese, French, and Spanish.
Wow.
So we do not address at this stage English because there's a lot of other materials, tools available already for that language. And I will also would like to stress from the previous question is that one of the goals here is that we should match the level of complexity of the text with the level of proficiency, because if the text is too difficult, people get upset and they disengage, while if it is too easy, it's also ineffective for the reader. So we try to keep these 2 things balanced, and that's one of the goals for the trainers, to better select. They can input whatever text they want, and see the results of the analyzer and then the writing assistant.
It sounds like it also corresponds this tool would address one of the challenges that we have in that basic skills training, how to match the training content maybe with the needs of the learners. And this has been something that was often experienced as time-consuming, lengthy task for trainers, learning designers. And maybe this is a good time to talk about the AI element of the tool. Does it have an impact on the efficiency of the trainer's work? And what AI elements are there in the tool?
Basically, AI supports all stages of development and also the deployment of the tools. On one hand, it's classifying the level of complexity of a text. It's a very complex task because it involves a very large number of parameters, and it's difficult for a human to consistently apply these when reading several texts. So teachers, as you mentioned very well, have a lot of work, and it's not only time consuming but difficult. On the other hand, so I believe, and it's this project's goal, that AI is performs better in this kind of tasks of classifying text complexity. And also, we try to use the input from the trainers and the teachers in order to identify also which are the aspects that contribute to the complexity or to a higher complexity of a given text. So not only this, but all throughout the entire process of developing the system, AI was a major part. Not only more classical methods of machine learning, but also the more modern tools like language models and so on.
In a positive, optimistic view, I would say that this takes a lengthy, time-consuming task out of the teacher's hand and becoming more like a quality checker of the text or the solutions that the AI gives. And maybe the teacher can focus, or the trainer can focus on more important design-related tasks, or focus on the individual itself, which can be one benefit in this sense. For sure.
I'm convinced that it will help teachers, trainers. So, for example, just checking out if there are a lot of passive phrases, sentences in the text, hints at something that can be adapted, or is eventually the contrary. We want to train, a trainer wants to train passive sentences or something like that. Or in the case of Portuguese, we have the problems with clitics and pronouns. And so these kind of issues that are very specifically language related. And it's important for teachers to have these highlighted from the text. So that's for trainers. We also had the feedback already, some feedback from students. And it's very interesting because one of the things they highlighted was the fact that they find out which words were more difficult. And sometimes the word is a little bit more difficult than the usual level they work with, but they can at the same time say, oh, I understand this. And this engage them all. I know this word. And this enthusiasts make them more enthusiastic towards reading and learning what's going on. The lack of texts adapted for adult learners, it's a major hindrance to adult learning programs.
Just one thing that came into my mind as you share these points is how amazing it would be to see the students changing the complexity level, starting from maybe something that is more complex, and maybe the student can also get a feedback that this time this very same text was a little bit less complex based on his skills.
So I don't know if I understand correctly your question, but so far we have consistently tested. We've tested for the consistency of the classification and made some tests with students, so the end users, to see if they find more difficult texts really more difficult or not.
Okay.
And and it confirms perfectly. So it's a very thing. Another thing is that when we're dealing with adult learners, they are very afraid of asking questions, of putting their doubts in the open. So having this tool also is a way to facilitate the communication within the class. So we can focus on that particular issue, on that particular word or construction and so on, as trainers are concerned.
Very interesting, very interesting. Can't wait for the project, although my French is not so good at this moment. What is the next step? When can we see something from this tool? Can you tell us a bit about?
We are in the stage of deploying a first version. Of course, it's still a prototype. It will happen by the end of this month. And we'll try do some, and we will be making some tests throughout the month of October. So I believe that a demo version will be available very soon. In fact, we have a paper accepted for MNLP demo sessions, a major conference in natural language processing domain. For exactly showing this demo that we have been preparing.
Excellent. We will make sure to share the demo link or the demo platform with our
everything
users.
is available on the site. Sorry to interrupt you. Everything is available on the site of the project. I don't know if you can share this site to the viewers when it is appropriate.
Absolutely. After our live stream, we go into the forum discussions, and this will be shared in an initial comment. So perfect, perfect. Finally, it sounds so complex, but also comprehensive. Can you talk a little bit about your professional motivation? What did you find especially exciting to work on this project, you as a computational linguist?
Well, not only is this is a very interesting linguistic topic, and it's not exactly a solved research question. But my main motivation comes from the belief that the literacy is a fundamental right, and that this is a key skill to participate in society. So many adults, unfortunately, we see many adults that are excluded from opportunities because of their low literacy levels. And personally, I wanted to contribute to a solution that combines, on one hand, linguistic research AI, and education in this threefold approach. And in order to make learning a more inclusive activity, the working on I Read for Skills allowed me to put my expertise in language technologies in use, and at the service of real people, helping to empower learners and support educators in their mission. And so this is not just a scientific challenge, let's say, but it's also a personal commitment to the development of society.
That's amazing, and it's right in the line of the European Basic Skills Network as well, where we think that basic skills are also allowing factors, but also gateways to democratic participation, not only in learning, but also in the civic life in itself. So really appreciate this project and also this tool. We can't wait to learn more about it. And something that came up in one of the comments in EPALE is the human factor. And I wonder if we could address this comment from Linda, who says,
it is an unsolved issue, unsolved question. Okay, it's a problem that is not been solved. Most tools that are available in the market are sometimes fail. Okay, and they are not entirely reliable, at least 100% reliable. I believe that human abilities will never be out of fashion, and we are only humans are able to creative thought and able to link things that are perhaps disparate in most minds, but for a person that is smart can make these connections. This is absolutely unfeasible for LLMs and AI, artificial intelligence tools. So I do not believe that human abilities and skills will become less valuable. On the contrary, they will be more and more valuable because they are the only ones that can do. And to my knowledge, and I think it's consensual among several authors, humans will not be out of job yet.
Not in that sense. That's a fair point, and this is two different questions. Of course, the development of AI is relying on human intelligence, and the continuous development also needs human intelligence, probably regardless of the fact that we have machine learning, deep learning, and algorithmic solutions. What about the first part of the question? How can we, is there any clues in the literature, in the research?
There are
that we
some
can look at?
aspects that signal that the text has not been prepared by a human. Mostly the use of certain words or certain expressions, because recently a paper appeared that described this. There are a certain tendency of using specific sentences or phrases. The other thing is usually AI produced texts are unpackable in their spelling, in their punctuation, which is something that humans sometimes struggle. Even a very literate person, people can struggle with certain aspects of grammar and syntax. So I think that it's still a work in progress. We are far from reliably 100% reliably identifying non-human generated text.
Absolutely. Maybe with images and videos, we have more visible clues, but
it's perhaps easier. I don't know. I do not work with pictures and image in general, but my understanding is that it's still very recognizable, even though there is a huge progress in the generation of pictures by AI tools. And so I'm not discounting that. For text, I think that there is a more complex. It has to do with meaning and stance and pragmatic use of language, which is I think, very difficult to emulate by a machine.
Hmm. That's very interesting, and it also speaks to our target group, adults with lower proficiency levels in reading and writing, and the civic factor of basic skills. And in the age of fake news and source analysis or critical source analysis, it is even more imperative to answer these questions as best as we can, like
Mhm.
Linda proposed. George, thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming today and sharing the news with us and the updates. We're going to move on now, but we invite you to come back for the conclusion of this video stream. Again, we
Sure.
really appreciate your contribution and good luck with the project.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And in the continuation, we will talk with one of our executive committee members at the EBSN, Damien Fay. Damien Fay is also an innovation manager, having a stake in AI, digital literacy, and the digitalization of organizations. He is also working Flying Teachers Without Training organization, and he's also a teacher trainer or a trainer of the trainers. So having an extensive experience with Damian, we are focusing on learning design and how can AI tools support learning design. Hello, Damian, and thank you for coming.
Hello, Tamás. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
It's a pleasure. As our users could see, the focus is on learning design, and the question, of course, emerges in what parts of the learning design process can adult learning professionals benefit from AI solutions or use AI apps? Talking about instructional designers, adult trainers, and a great variety of practitioners.
Well, the short answer is in almost all of them, but I'm going to go a bit more into detail and
Mm,
also relate this question to learners of basic skills. So also trainers
mm,
working in basic skills instruction. Yeah, of course, in general, AI tools, large language models have had a very large impact on learning design in the last few years. The impact is getting bigger because the tools develop very fast. But also in the context of basic skills, there are some relevant impacts or changes that have been brought about by AI. I'll give some examples.
mm,
So, for example, if you talk about gamified multimedial learning and instruction, AI has led to cost efficiency. So developing,
mm,
let's say, a virtual world or a gamified experience has become way less pricey because of AI. And these non-classic learning settings, I would say, like, for example, a digital escape room, a
mm,
virtual reality setting, all these approaches that have a gamified element, they can be very beneficial for the target group of basic skills learners. Many of these learners actually have negative prior experiences with learning in formal settings, like schools. Sometimes these experiences have led them to believe that they are not able to learn. And using gamified approaches, multimedial approaches, can actually, let's say, trick the learner into having fun and then realizing, oh, I've learned. Learning is actually something I can do. It's actually fun.
This is very interesting to hide the frames of the classroom behind the
Yes.
game and thereby motivating the learners. This is one of the biggest topics also in learning designs. Mm, yeah.
Then, yeah, when I said almost everything, of course, what comes to mind is curriculum design, lesson planning, material creation, content creation. All of this can be easier if you use AI tools. So that also means that trainers or educational managers who create these materials have more resources. For example, more resources for the interpersonal contact of learning and teaching, and especially with the target group of essential skills learners, such interpersonal support, such face-to-face time is very important, I would say.
Mm,
But actually, this is something AI tools can also take over as a role.
mm,
So there are some dedicated AI tools. You can call them chatbots, but also general LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, and so on and so on, can serve as agents if you feed them properly. And these agents, these AI agents, can take on the role of tutors or coaches
mm,
in a specific learning context. That actually means that the AI is there for you as a learner and can answer your questions, can give you tasks based on what you need to learn, based on what mistakes you made. So it's actually an individualized learning, and especially it's around the clock guidance and support.
almost like your own study buddy or facilitator at hand.
Yes,
It's just not
who is
in the
actually
classroom.
available 24 hours and doesn't need to sleep.
Mm,
And
absolutely.
maybe even an advantage also, again, looking at the aspect of exposure, maybe
Mm,
shame, which is also something many learners of basic skills do feel. There is not even a person there which you need to expose yourself to. There is an anonymous thing.
does this mean that we can even develop the motivation of the learners or get some encouragement uh,
I would say
before?
so, and even the way these LLMs have been set up lately, actually, they have changed a
Mm,
bit in their rhetorics. They
mm,
have become more adapted to your style. So if the AI gets the impression that you're a person who uses emojis or something, it will copy that and mirror that. So let's say the rhetorics have become more encouraging, more positive, maybe even overly positive sometimes.
mm,
But this could have a very positive effect on motivation, make these learners actually comfortable with asking questions, and by that also recognizing the benefit of asking questions. And I would
mm.
say learning is essentially about asking questions and getting good answers.
Mm, indeed, indeed. What can the organizations do, education providers, to benefit from? Can this be like an efficiency innovation or intervention to teachers on an organizational level?
I would say so, yes, but this efficiency is also contingent on the skills and competencies of the trainers and the institutional staff
Mm,
related to AI usage, let's say related to prompting.
mm,
So prompting is what are the instructions that you actually give the AI, and um, the quality of the output is as good as the quality of the prompt. That's what we say. Um, if you get an output that is, let's say, 60% okay, you better start again with a new prompt, because getting to the 100% will take more work than doing it on your own. At least that's my experience. So
mm,
efficient prompting, structured prompting is very important. And I would also say there are other aspects like ethical aspects of using
mm,
AI. So trainers should know how AI works, especially what its limitations are. But if these competencies are developed or are there, then I think AI tools can increase efficiency for institutional educations.
mm. You highlighted the need for good prompting or targeted prompting and some experience with prompting, and this real defines predominantly the quality, of course, of the output as well. So when I think about prompting, I also think about a big question how the individual learning needs can be targeted by prompt, because it almost sounds like we are presented with a tool to overcome this issue that we talk very often about, how to create in the same learning setting a very personal learning experience that speaks to the experience of the learner, that speaks to the level of complexity that is manageable for the learner, as we could hear from George's contribution. What can we do to make this happen through AI?
So I'm not going to go into detail about what good prompting is, or let alone how to create an agent or an AI tutor, but it is possible, even for non-specialists if they have good guidance.
Yeah.
But if you manage to create such an agent, or if a tool allows you to work with a predefined agent, then I think there is a lot of potential in terms of individualization, individual learning needs. So I already touched upon this coach function. Of course, having your questions answered anytime is something that individualizes your learning experience. These agents will also be able to adapt their answers and, let's say, their tasks they give you, the exercises, for example, they give you according to your performance as a learner. And I think this is especially, there's a lot of potential for that when you look at e-learning pathways, so self-study, digital learning pathways. Self-study is, especially digital self-study, is something that is traditionally not perceived as being very suited to the usual basic skills learners target group. But if you have the possibility as a learner to ask for clarification and help anytime, which is provided by the AI again, then I think this e-learning becomes a very viable learning context for this target group.
So here I also sense the access or the gateway function of AI, allowing. We talked a little bit about the civic participation, but here it's like participating in the emerging industry of e-learning, because they are more and more out there, more and more accessible to professional development even, and for those who struggle with some parts of basic skills or have some challenges with that, they can actually reach out and take part in such courses.
Yes, I would say AI eases the accessibility or increases the accessibility for this target group. But of course, having the possibility to ask questions is not the only thing that is revolving around accessibility. So of course, the very basic form of accessibility is having the infrastructure.
True.
A smartphone would be enough, but still, not everyone has one. And then, of course, the other part of accessibility is using those tools, actually.
This brings us to one of the comments that we received through EPALE platform. Nick is proposing is this digital literacy element that you also touched upon, with using accessible tools or accessing these things. If people develop digital literacy without engaging with AI, they're still missing essential skills that are increasingly required. How do you see the skill of AI or AI literacy in the future? Is it becoming more and more central? Are people falling behind if they don't have this? What are your experiences?
Yes, most emphatically, yes. I would say AI literacy and digital literacy will become the same, or are already the same. Or let's say AI literacy is an integral part of digital literacy. I think this will increase, and there is also a lot of danger in that. I think because of this, because of AI being an essential skill, AI literacy, it has the potential to widen the digital divide even further. So let's say I am AI savvy, I can use it, then I will have the AI do some simple tasks for me that are time consuming but easy. So I will become more efficient. I will become more sought after in the labor market, for example. I will also use less time for private tasks, and I can profit from this available time in any ways. If I do not have this AI literacy, then I will not even be able to do the most simple tasks automated. I need to do them on my own. I will need time. So I think it is a very dangerous aspect, and it should be really mitigated by seeing AI literacy as an essential skill that is also taught in an adequate manner.
Maybe this calls for a policy perspective, and policymakers need to focus on AI when we talk about digital literacy. And you propose that it's almost the same by now, but we know that, of course, many of a big chunk of the target group can also struggle with the basic entrance steps, like setting up an email account or just facing the open laptops and where to start the big, what we have in in our studies, what we call the tabula rasa, or the clean, the terror of the clean page, or I don't know how to call it. This
Clean
could
slate,
be
yeah.
adapted, the clean slate. I could be adapted to opening the laptop and where to start, how to start. So can this be taught in school? This was also resonated with Ilse's comment, who asked, should AI be taught in schools? In general, when we talk about adults, especially now if we focus on adult training centers.
Yes, I would say it should be taught in school. There are opportunities and useful usages, as we heard, as I argued earlier. I think the critical aspects should also be taught. So learners should also be aware of the limitations of AI. So not everything AI says is fact. It's biased. Data protection, data transparencies are issues that I'm not going to touch upon anymore here, but it should be taught, but also the critical factors should be taught. But yeah, of course, this is what I meant when I said accessibility. You mentioned the basic, very basic accessibility, like sitting in front of the laptop and not doing and knowing what to do. Of course, this is a, let's say, more basic kind of digital literacy that is maybe required for the more advanced kind of AI literacy. But even then, if you manage the very basic steps, then AI tools can be set up in a way that are very easily accessible and do not require much IT competence, let's say. Yes, so it should be taught, I would say, because there is a huge potential, but there are also dangers, and these should also be named.
Thank you, Damian, for sharing your experiences and insights with us. And also thank you again, George, for coming to our online discussion. It has been a pleasure to listen to you, to pick your minds about these topics. I think we had a lot of food for thought for today. And what we left off with, Damian, is also highlighted with one of the comments that we got from Errodeja. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. AI helps and harms. So we shouldn't disengage adults from and adult educators from dealing with AI tools in a critical way, but we should also approach with an open mind. And having a critical and open-minded approach is something that we can definitely master. This is, of course, one of the lifelong learning targets that any adult educator can set out to do. But maybe it presents with a great opportunity for the future. And as the comment says, responsibility is key. So again, dear experts, thank you very much for your contribution. And we are continuing our forum discussion until 4 o'clock. The moderation continues until 4 o'clock p.m. today. But of course, you're more than welcome to share your experiences. Just as a recap, again, you're more than welcome to share any experiences that you had in your organization, your teaching practice, AI tools adoption in learning programs, and any success stories that you've experienced through your practice. Thank you very much again for being with us,
Thank
and
you.
see you in the forum discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.